Hello, Nibber. You're listening to Novels and Bits podcast. Nibber, and this is your host, Chizoba Katie. How are you doing? Okay, so where we left off in the last episode, which was like 2 weeks ago plus, please make sure you listen to that episode before this one. Where we left off in that episode, Charlotte's world turned upside down, and right now she has her wish, which is to be the woman Sebastian loves. That was a wish she made. But just like all wishes you make that happen supernaturally overnight, there's always a way it turns out. Not quite in that way, because she's thinking, oh, that means I must be his wife since I woke up in bed with him and, we were naked. That means we are something. That's when Quincy, the supernatural being, starts laughing. You're not his wife, you're his mistress. And she goes, what? How? So that's where we left off in the last episode. Quince, the person that caused the wish to happen for Charlotte. Charlotte now swings the door open because she's trying to run after Quince to find out more. Like, what are you saying? Tell me more. But as she swings the door open, she comes face to face with Fenella, her uptight cousin, second cousin, that likes to think that all the morals that is lacking in society, she's the one person that can save society. Dash Fenella looks different. But instead of Fenella to start scolding Charlotte as she would in the other lifeline, to start telling her, hey, you're supposed to be this, that. All Fenella just tells her is, oh, Lottie, you drink too much. You need to tone down the drinking. And as always, why do you have such awful taste in men? AKA Lon Trent. The man that was just in Charlotte's bed, Sebastian. Now, Fenella has long, beautiful hair in this timeline. She has curves, where in the other life she was painfully skinny. And her hair was always coughed up. You cannot even know if it's long or shiny like this. And she's in beautiful clothing. Now, Fenella comes, she helps Charlotte to get dressed in one green dress like that. And then they now go downstairs for breakfast in a beautiful room that is filled with more paintings from Arbuckle. Remember, Arbuckle is a painter of the ton. Like, to have a painting from him means that you are a big person. You can afford a painting from him. Just like you consider Leonardo da Vinci and all of those people. So he's that type of artist with that reputation. And she not just only has a nude painting from him in her room, her private room, she now notices that in the breakfast room, there's so many paintings from him. In fact, she's even informed by Fenella that she has a painting appointment with him. And after that, she has a lunch date with the Earl of Rockhurst. She's like, what? That Rockhurst is known in the former timeline as being a notorious rake. But in this timeline, she has a lunch date with him. And after that, she has an appointment with her dressmaker. That's Charlotte's schedule for the day. And Fenella is going to join her. So Fenella is now telling her, you do look pretty as a picture. Seems a shame that Arbuckle will want you to take it all down when we get there. But at least you look good for admirers. But this style does become you, if I do say so myself. And it will ensure you get your mention in the post tomorrow. That is everything. The only thing Charlotte keeps doing right now. Like, what are you talking about? Did you just say admirers? Did you just say that I'm going to go and lounge with who and who? That have been mentioned in the gossip column? Like, Charlotte is horrified. What kind of woman am I if that's the kind of life I lead? Do you understand? Fenella mentioned that so-and-so man, he was drinking with me yesterday up until so-so time. And the thing has Lottie's eyes bulging because this was a very pious man in the other lifeline that would have nothing to do with drinks. So what's he doing with drinks in this lifeline? And Charlotte, in the other lifeline, their house don't used to get any letters. She was a branded spinster. But in this lifeline, she has many letters on salve. Like, there's something called a salve, more or less like a tabletop counter where you keep things like letters. So she picks one letter from that top of the place there. And it's addressed Mrs. Townsend, number 4, Little Titchfield Street. And she's like, Mrs. Townsend? That means she got married at some point. Charlotte set down the letter first. And she's now thinking to herself, this letter must have been misdirected though, because for any lady to live on Little Titchfield Street is notorious for being a place that prostitutes live on. Mistresses and co, that kind of women. And Charlotte is not that type of woman. She's a lady in the other lifeline. Thinking that could only be that. Is that the kind of woman I am? Hastily, she just picks up another letter to confirm that maybe this one is misdirected. Let me check the other letter. It still addressed the same thing. Mrs. Townsend, number 4, Little Titchfield Street. Mrs. Lottie Townsend. And she's now holding the correspondence in the hand. And the handwriting looks familiar. Then Finola now confirms that it's from Aurora. Aurora in this timeline, that's her Charlotte's mother. In the other lifeline, still her mother here. Aurora, she is Countess Pilsey. In the other one, she did not remarry. But apparently in this lifeline, she remarried. And Finola is now filling Lottie in that. Not like filling her in deliberately. But when you're angry about something that you and somebody has talked over time and time again, you know now, somebody just repeating a conversation that the person feels people have been having. But for Charlotte, it's the first time she's gaining that type of information. Finola is angry at Aurora's way of doing things. She wants to ask for money behind the back, but in front of society, she's not going to acknowledge the same people she wants to take money from to settle her gambling debts. You understand? That's two-faced. As they're now in a carriage going to the first appointment of the day. That's the painting appointment. Finola is now cautioning Lottie and says, but really, Lottie, you can't let yourself go. Not now. Not when just a few more annuities would allow you to retire. And to get those, you cannot let yourself overindulge, especially since Mr. Latlow was quite clear on the point last month. But why do I think you'll listen to your solicitor when you won't even listen to your own dear Finny? A house, Lottie. That's what we need right now. A house. Lottie just listened to this and she's like, what? I have all those issues. Like, this is her troubles right now. She needs to find a way to snag a few more annuities from lovers. Apparently, Lottie is someone that overindulges on wine. Charlotte is like me. I possess all these vices in this current lifeline. I don't even listen to my solicitor. I even have a solicitor and his name is Mr. Ludlow. And it is my job right now to ensure that somehow we secure another house. And apparently I gamble. Wahala. Right now, Lottie's issues is that she needs to find someone capable of bringing another house into the arrangement. At least, even if it's not a house, a decent property. At least shipping stock, something that would ensure that even after the man, he is gone and buried, the women will still be getting steady money from one sound investment or the other. That's the thing Finola is advising her. Use your youth well. Let us pack plenty money before we are no longer the hot thing in the market, Finola still goes on talking, and is now telling her the type of man that she should target. Now, Rockhurst, Rockhurst, there is a sort a woman can depend on. Finola just sighed. She just sighs dreamily. Why? If I'd had a feel like him, I certainly wouldn't be here. And that thing has Charlotte in her mind. She turns that words over and is like, does that mean that Finola is also this type of woman? As per, she's also a courtesan too. But Finola continues talking. Send Trent packing, my girl. You cannot afford to keep him much longer. Charlotte now says, but he loves me. Thinking of her wish that she just wished just how many hours ago was that Sebastian would love her. And now that she has a man she loves, they're asking her to send him packing. Abba now. Then Finola just tells her, you love him, but that's not going to pay the bills. You need a man that can pay the bills. He cannot. Now, they finally arrive at the painter's house. A lot of men are there. They cheer when they see Lottie. Earl of Rockhurst asks the men to start paying up. He won the wager. The wager, they were betting on if she's going to wear blue or green. And Charlotte is wearing green. And that's what Rockhurst betted on. So they should pay. She's even shocked by that one. They enter painter's house. And Charlotte is now seeing painting of a woman under a tree that makes her feel sad by looking at that painting. But as she's looking at the painting, Aboko, he's apparently an older man, let's say middle age, around 40 something, and he treats Lottie like a daughter. He's not telling her, I'm not going to sell that painting to you. You've asked me many times to sell it to you. I'm still not going to sell it to you. That I've been immune to your charms since I started painting you 15 years ago. Charlotte is like, he's been painting me for 15 years. Since, right now she's like 26. That means she was 10, 11. He's been painting her. There was now the portrait of a young girl, a basket overflowing with flowers cradled in her lap. Charlotte just thought, that's me. That's her portrait. She's holding a basket that is overflowing with flowers that is crowded in her lap. Now, the wish has changed her entire life. That's what Charlotte is thinking. That one wish, nothing in her life is the same except her. Because she's here feeling like a fish that was plucked out of water. But everything in her life is just moving on like, this has been happening since now. Why are you acting like that? Finola even sold tickets to the men to be there for Charlotte's painting. It's Aboko that refuses. That, and Finale is like, why are you refusing? Aboko is like, I don't like working with all those swarm of men around there. And for the actual painting, what Charlotte is supposed to wear for the painting is the costume is transparent, with Charlotte practically showing off her nakedness. And apparently this was Charlotte's idea, not just to get another nude painting done, but for the men to be there to be watching her while she's getting paint. She's like, me would suggest this type of thing. What kind of woman am I in this lifetime? Or what kind of loose woman am I in this lifeline? No, I'm not doing. When Finella came to help her to change out of her clothes into that costume, she ran off. Charlotte ran off. Like, I cannot do this one. I don't want this life. Somebody help me. I want to change out of this life. I want to go back to how it was before. She's already fed up with the life. So why wandering? Because she doesn't know where to go now. She finds herself in front of the Malowe's house, Lottie. And from outside, it looks the same. Like, okay, this is the house, the beloved house I used to come to, I like. But then she now sees Lady Walbrook. That's Sebastian's mom, Hermione, Sebastian's sister, and Lottie's best friend in the other lifeline. And then her elder sister, Cordelia. Cordelia, in the other lifeline, is not in London. She is in Bath with her aunt, one of her aunts like that. You seeing them, these are people that are very close to her in former lifeline. But as she tries to approach them in this lifeline, they shrink from her. Their clothes are dull. Whereas the old Hermione loves fashion. The Lady Walbrook was somebody that was very outrageous in fashion. You understand? And the way they rebuff Lottie, she runs away to a nearby park and she starts crying. Queens now shows up there and then now starts telling Lottie that she made a vague wish to be loved by Lord Trent. And that's what she got. She did not say, hey, I want to be loved by Lord Trent as his wife. You understand? So she now insists that she didn't want to be a salt dove, turn away from everyone she loves, that she's not this woman everyone thinks she is. But Queen says, you actually are. That the wish I gave you is just a part of you that you are not showing to society. But this is part of who you are. She now starts telling her, people are such complicated creatures, my dear. Faceted, flawed, their characters ever up for interpretation. We all have varied potentials. Aspects of our personalities that for whatever reasons we never explore. Society, choices, and dare I say it, outright cowardice keep us from living our lives completely. Charlotte Wilmot and Lottie Townsend, they're just different aspects of you. You aren't doing or saying anything that isn't true to yourself. A part of me wants to be naked while men are watching me and I'm getting painted. I have a part of me like that. I cannot believe that. But Queen is telling her that it is so, that I did not do something that is not part of your innermost secret desire. But Charlotte also has another issue. Everybody seems to have been living in this life. They're settled here. But me, I cannot even remember this life. And I've never been married. And Queens confirms it. Yes, you actually never have been married. The story is what Finella came up with, why both of you were away at Italy. And it's really brilliant, is it not? You know, in these times, people who often end up becoming prostitutes are not debutantes. They are either people that they come from low-bred homes, or in this case of Charlotte right now, maybe a vicar's daughter or baron's daughter, all those people that don't have much money like that, married somebody. And maybe the person went off to war, a soldier, and he now died, and they now become widows. As far, okay, widow, you've had a husband, you've been properly married once, so you now go and start doing this job. So that's the story they came up for Charlotte when they were away in Italy. Oh, she married, but then her husband died, so she now came back and now became Lottie. You know, the courtesan that men are tripping themselves over. As for Sebastian being a roguish shriek instead of the serious man that Lottie fell for, Lottie, you did that to him. You freed his spirit. Queen just tells her, see, I know this wish does not look like what you asked for on the surface, but really stay with it for a while. You see that's what you asked for. Make the most of the wish. And in the meantime, don't fret yourself so much. Soon the memories of your old life will fade and you have nothing but the love you desire above everything. As in, the more you stay in this wish, the more your mind would forget the other lifeline. You now start remembering memories of this lifeline as though you lived it. That was what's going to happen. Lottie, in the middle of talking with Queen, she now sights Sebastian coming out from his townhouse because she's still at a park that is just facing that townhouse. And as she now turns to Queen has already disappeared sometime. And then she's pulled to him. She just finds herself pulled to him. I mean, this is Sebastian, the man she loves. But a carriage blocks her path to him. And out of the carriage, a Lord Lyman steps out. In other lifeline, he's a very eligible bachelor. But in this lifeline, he causes chills to go down Lottie's spine. And a memory that Lottie knows she did not leave. Charlotte, she knows that she did not leave this memory. But it surfaces in her mind. She's at a theater, and in the dark, Lyman is gripping her tight and sneering that he's going to possess her body. That she's going to come to him for protection eventually, as why he's a rich man and she's a slut. So she'll eventually still open her legs for him, that type of suggestion. And then snapping out of that memory, she tried to get out of his hold because right now he just bang, put his hand on her. But she gets pushed to the ground by him. The side of her head gets cut and starts bleeding. Lyman is interrupted by Sebastian, who swoops in to protect her. Sebastian threatens Lyman's life for her, hits Lyman in public, sends him on his way. And he's not even afraid to make a public scene for her. And this shows Lottie just how deeply Sebastian loves her. I mean, she really got that wish. And he is insisting that a surgeon must see her because of that cut in her head by the side, as Lyman pushed her down. And he scoops her up in public in his arms, carries her to the door of his house. And then the butler is reluctant. Like, hey, my lord, how can you bring this type of woman into our house? We know of Lottie's reputation. Sebastian now reasons with the man and says, do you want us to be here and people are seeing us? Or do you rather just let me inside? Let doctor see her quickly and she'll go. Which one do you want? So the butler was not reluctant. Let them inside. When they cross and go in, Sebastian now says, you owe me a pony, madam. She now says, a pony? He now says, yes, and I want the entire £25. She's like, what is this man talking about? This is likely a conversation we had I cannot remember. There was a glittering light of amusement in his eyes, as if he was suddenly and immensely proud of himself. She now struggled a little bit in his arms, and he hoisted her closer in response. She now says, whatever for? Am I giving you £25 and owe you a pony? He now said, don't you recall? And this is like, this man doesn't even know what is happening here. Recall what? Well, what am I recalling? Lottie faces another shock. And the shock she faces this time is that the Malawi house has changed. In the other lifeline, their house looks like one museum. That it's this person's own load is here, this other person's own load is here. But all those things is no longer there. The house is just pristine, clean. No characteristic signature that makes it Malawi house. All the things that used to make it look eccentric and homey gone is now proper. Also, the L in the other lifeline used to travel around. But in this particular lifeline, he's in debt and he's somewhere in Scotland up to no good. You understand? Griffin, Sebastian's brother, seems like the only thing in this house that is not unchanged. He's still charming and up to his experiments. Right now, he's trying to build a time machine. He's asking Sebastian for money. Sebastian said he doesn't have any money to give him. Charlotte says, I don't have any money. Because where Charlotte is coming from, the other lifeline, she does not have money. But in this lifeline, she's a wealthy woman, but she does not know. It has not sunk into her brain yet. I mean, she has not been in this lifeline for up to 24 hours yet. Then after Griffin leaves them, Sebastian now tells Charlotte, I have something for you. He now goes and brings a book, now presents her the gift of a poem book. Those are poems for her favorites she loves in secret. Because this is also a part of her that is true. Because in the other lifeline, there are things that are called proper poems that a young lady should know. And then other poems that you're not supposed to know because they're scandalous. That those poets, their poems are too raw. But in secret, Charlotte of the other lifeline loved it. And apparently Lottie in this present lifeline loves it. And she's loud about it. At least Sebastian knows enough. So when he presents that poem book to her, and Charlotte is wondering, how did you know that I like these things? Because in her mind, it is secret. He now gave her this look of, how did I know really? That you make me read them to you every other night. How am I not supposed to know you love them when I'm the person that is subjected to reading it for you? Now she finds out that Sebastian boxes. And in the other lifeline, she did not know that he's a boxer. That's how he was able to beat up Lord Lyman, the one that assaulted her outside. And she used to bet on the outcome of his boxing. As far as she used to watch him box, she's like, me, watch you box. I used to even bet on it. In her mind, she's like, there's no way I can keep up with this fast. Like, what is all these things that are telling me about myself that I don't even know? Now, Sebastian now cleans up her head wound. It's not as serious as it looks, so there's no need to call the doctor. So he just cleans it up, gets water and some first aid cleaning materials now as obtainable in that time. He now tells her that he has to go to breakfast with the Bucks, which is actually his engagement party. And Lottie is now feeling lost and alone when he says this. But Sebastian says, let me take you home first. I cannot just go and leave you like this. Sebastian doesn't want to marry Miss Buck, but pressure from his family and even Lottie had even told him, go ahead and marry Miss Buck. Charlotte is wondering, Charlotte of the other lifeline can never ask Sebastian to marry Miss Buck. But Lottie, the courtesan, the prostitute, the mistress, has already asked him, hey, you can go ahead and marry the woman you want to marry now, Miss Boke. I understand why you're marrying her. You get. Now, whenever I say Charlotte, I'm saying Charlotte. Charlotte is the innocent version of Lottie Winner. You get. Lottie is the wild courtesan version of this lifeline that we're getting to know. Okay? Two different people. Sebastian now suddenly says, just spend the day with me now. I don't even want to go for that breakfast. You spend the day with me. And Lottie, that's Charlotte, instantly caves in, because it's shy Charlotte's dream come true that Sebastian is in love with her, wants to spend time with her. So now while they're driving in his carriage, Sebastian now admits that he doesn't like the idea of her posing for Aboko, and she's like, oh really? But his reason now stuns her speechless, because she just thought, he doesn't like it because I'll be showing my body. No, he does not just like it based on he will have to share her attention. As for other people will see how pretty she is, and she too is also preying under their attention. It's not because of moral reason as per don't show your body. That's not even his own. And apparently it always causes a regular riot whenever Aboko exhibits his paintings of her, not just maybe her. It's not all paintings. She used to be naked, now she used to cover in some of them. But it's not like she used to care when Aboko exhibits it and the men are going gaga, because apparently she prints under the attention, she pours under it, and she likes being buried in flowers and offerings. And Charlotte is feeling dread, because she learns the details of just how involved she is in drinking, on betting on boxers. And in fact, there was even a time she got blood on her new gown from a boxer who fell at her feet. Those are the things that this thing, he's just telling her, we are talking now. Do you remember when we did this one? Do you remember when we did that one? And Charlotte is just, in her mind, she's thinking, me? I did this one, I did that one. With who? How? When? She cannot reconcile herself being all these things that he's saying that she is. And she's been all proper today, being all trends, like a proper lady now. Because that's the actual Charlotte. Although Lottie is not a proper lady, but Charlotte is. But, at the point, Lord Trent now looked at her, Sebastian now looked at her and said, don't change too much, Lottie. I love you just the way you are. Just the same as you were the day we met. And the thing now brings her to, how did we meet? Because, in the other lifeline, they met through her being his sister's best friend. But since she is not his sister's friend, or cannot even be his sister's friend in this lifeline, based on her reputation as a prostitute, she now asks him, so how is it that we know each other in this lifeline? Like, how did we meet? Apparently, they met because he cheated Lord Rockhurst in a wager. He desired Lottie, but fell in love with her once he got to know her. Like, desired Lottie as a courtesan that is hot, that he wants to have in his bed. But as he got to know her, they fell in love. So it was more of lust turned into love. That's how Sebastian fell for her in this lifeline. So now, Quince and Milton. Quince is that supernatural being that granted Lottie this wish. Milton is a well-dressed, very handsome man, but he's invisible to humans. They're both supernatural beings. So Milton is here to scold Quince about the wish. She was supposed to retrieve his ring. It was his ring that Lottie wore, Charlotte wore and made the wish that made all these things happen. And Quince was supposed to have retrieved that ring, but instead she allowed the ring to be passed to Charlotte. Apparently, Quince is in the habit of turning the world upside down to make all these wishes happen. In one of those times, a war that was supposed to last 50 years stretched to 100 because of Queen's interference. So Milton now ordered her to end this wish. Find this girl and tell her the truth, that all she has to do is disavow her wish and all return to normal. This is what Queen did not do since, she did not tell Charlotte that you can actually go back on your wish. Just tell her, just enjoy the wish while you can. She did not tell her that you can actually say you don't want the wish anymore and everything will return to normal. It's true, you can only make a wish once, but you can also reject that wish you made. And already, Charlotte is at a place where she is still marveling that what kind of Lottie's lifestyle is this now supposed to fit into. So if Queens can actually find Lottie right now and tell her, you can go back on this wish, Charlotte will take it. She'll take it before you can even finish saying Jack Robinson. You get? So this is the part where we're going to stop in the story for today. The next episode is going to be longer, really. I'm just doing all of these things so that we can be well acquainted, we can catch up. And honestly, I have to be at work in 20 minutes. So, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in, Nibber. I really appreciate you. Please share this podcast with someone. Tell someone about it. Leave a review wherever you're listening. You're listening on YouTube Music or YouTube. Please leave a comment. I really appreciate it and it helps the show. God bless you. See ya.